You're watching E.T.N. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. Boy, it is good to be back in front of the camera after a week of pretty much setting up my new machine and taking care of all that. And it was a bit of an ordeal waiting for certain parts that were later than they were supposed to be. But we are here and we are back. In this video, we're going to talk a little Godzilla versus Kong. Now, I talked about this topic in the last stream we were in, or the last couple of streams. I think it was actually not this past week, but the week before. And it was looking at the IMDB casting, and there was some pretty interesting information on some of this casting. Now, with that said, full disclosure, obviously things can change a great deal between now and the time the movie's coming out. But for the most part, I think this is pretty interesting. Now, two things I wanted to talk about. One is an organization called Apex, which is an organization we have not heard of yet in Godzilla vs. Kong. And then the other topic is what's going to happen in China. There are a lot of references to Hong Kong and Shanghai in the IMDb. So interesting enough, let's start with Apex. Now, Apex, obviously, I think if you want to make a bet, I think the safe bet is to assume that Apex is going to be the rival to Monarch, but maybe a more evil organization. Perhaps it is the organization where the terrorists spawned from in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So that should be interesting, and perhaps they have some sort of device that was supposed to be or very similar to the Orca. Maybe they found a way to make it more effective. Maybe that's why the Titans are being summoned to Skull Island. We all know that based on some of the newspaper clippings, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath Skull Island. We got the Hollow Earth theory going on with that. Mechanical device being built. Whether or not some of these things pay off in this movie remains to be seen. But interesting enough, we do have another organization, it seems, to be present in Godzilla versus Kong. And to look at it, they even have their own military. I mean, there's the Apex lab technician, so they have their own technician, the Apex employee, another Apex employee, an Apex armed guard. So really, really interesting with this new organization that we've had no information about up until now with this IMDb casting. The other thing I thought was interesting was there are some characters, obviously these are not main characters, these are like extras, but their designation within the movie is also very interesting. For example, there's a woman named Linda Chen playing a Hong Kong survivor, which is interesting because, again, this is a location that up until now we had no idea they would visit. One of the things that I took away from the end credits of Godzilla vs. Godzilla King of the Monsters was that since all the monsters are converging on Skull Island, since Kong is at Skull Island, since it's Godzilla vs. Kong, that the movie would take place exclusively on Skull Island, which I don't think any of us would be disappointed with if that happened. But it seems like we're going to have a pit stop in China. And, I think that's pretty interesting. Now, it could just be a short scene where maybe they're leaving from China. Maybe they're in China for some reason. But nonetheless, it could also mean that something goes down. There's another character here that is listed as a Hong Kong pedestrian. So, again, interesting stuff here. Now, it could, like I said, it could be anything. It could be that, a Titan that is on their way to Skull Island rummages through China before he makes his way through the ocean to Skull Island. It could be that maybe that's where there's a showdown in China with Godzilla versus Kong. Who knows? But either way, I thought it was interesting because, again, we don't have too much information on the movie yet. We haven't gotten a trailer yet. We've gotten a synopsis that's very interesting. One of the things mentioned in the synopsis is that the Titans are facing a potential threat, something that could actually destroy them. So maybe this is a sort of device that's been developed by Apex. Now, could it be an updated, no longer prototype oxygen destroyer? That's a possibility. We know that it possibly works on the Titans. It did not work on Ghidorah because Ghidorah is a space monster. So maybe the oxygen destroyer will play a role in this movie, and perhaps that's what destroys them. Maybe the Apex finally developed it, took the prototype and developed a very more accurate, more effective oxygen destroyer that can wipe out all the Titans. Or it could be a whole nother device that they developed. But either way, I'm pretty sure that based on the synopsis, if there is a device or a weapon that can destroy the Titans, and now we have a new organization called Apex, I don't think there's too much coincidence there. I think it's pretty much, I'm sure it's a safe bet to say that they're linked somehow. I don't think Monarch would be developing that. Monarch is more of, we've known now that they're more established as an organization that is looking to preserve and study the Titans as opposed to destroying them. So interesting stuff here. And once again, China plays a pretty big role in it. Well, at least right now, it could potentially play a big role depending on the situation. But again, we had a pedestrian from Hong Kong. We have a Hong Kong survivor. Hong Kong survivor tells me something goes down in Hong Kong that is a pretty big deal. I mean, if this person is a survivor, what happened there that they barely escape with their life, you know? So it could be a Titan attack, or it could be a big fight between Godzilla and Kong. Interesting stuff. So I think it's something we need to keep an eye on. Things could change a great deal between now and the movie, but I thought it was something interesting. I spoke about it on a stream a week and a half ago, and now that I'm, you know, now that I've gone through this whole ordeal with getting my computer finished up and getting all the parts I needed to get it up and running, I definitely wanted to do a more focused video on it, because I know a lot of you guys are not able to make it to the stream, and I wanted to make sure I got, you know, pretty much share your thoughts on that. Another interesting tidbit that I want to talk about before I go is that there are some students casted in this movie as well, which indicates that Millie Bobby Brown's character, Madison Russell, will likely be in school. There's a girl here that's casted as a mean girl. There's another boy that's casted as a classmate, things of that nature. So interesting stuff. You know, I'm pretty sure she's probably not going to be in school very long, and I'm pretty sure that if there is a scene that includes her in the school, she won't be in that scene very long. So good stuff, you know, good information, something at least to kind of bite on a little bit before we go and have to wait for whatever trailer or more information that we're going to get. In terms of trailers, I know a couple of people have asked me when I think the trailer is going to come out. At this point, I'm going to guess sometime in the fall. As we get closer to New York Comic Con, my guess so far is that Warner Brothers will have at least a bigger presence at Comic-Con in New York. Not necessarily a panel, but I think they're definitely going to show and highlight some of their some of the projects they have up and coming. And at that point, I would think that they're going to want to start to show something with Godzilla vs. Kong, because you're getting to a point now where, you know, if you're looking at that March release, if that March release stays as it is, then, you know, you roughly got 6 months to start promoting this movie. And I would think that they want to try and get something out of it before they, you know, in terms of marketing, they want to get something out of it before it's too late. You know, I'm surprised they're waiting a little bit long. I mean, they dropped the first trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters a year before the movie came out. So I'm surprised they didn't at least drop something for Comic-Con, even though they didn't have a panel. But be that as it may, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting one within the next 3 months, roughly. So that's August. Yeah, I would say by the end of October. If we haven't seen anything, that would be pretty weird. But yeah, that's it. I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, see what you thought. And definitely let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Apex? What do you think is going to happen in China? And we'll go from there, hopefully. And as we get more information, we'll talk more about it. You know we will. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Definitely comment in the section below. Let me know your thoughts on Apex and also what's going to happen in China. And until the next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.